She fired me as her wedding photographer 2 days before the ceremony. What she didn't realize was that I'd already shot the entire wedding. I've been shooting weddings for 7 years. Decent side income, builds my portfolio, and most couples are genuinely grateful for the work. Then I booked Simone and Greg's wedding. 8 months of planning, venue visits, engagement shoots, the whole package. Everything was fine until Simone's maid of honor, Cassidy, got involved. 2 days before the wedding, Cassidy called me directly. "We need to talk about your equipment," she said. "No greeting, no pleasantries." I was editing photos at my desk. "What about it? Simone's been looking at your Instagram, and honestly, your camera gear seems kind of basic. Her cousin Jerome has a newer model, and he offered to shoot the wedding for free. I'd been shooting with professional equipment worth about $30,000. Jerome, I later discovered, owned a Canon Rebel he bought at Best Buy 3 months ago. I have a signed contract," I said carefully. "The wedding is in 48 hours. Cassidy's voice turned cold. "Yeah, about that. Simone doesn't want to pay your ridiculous fee for amateur work. Consider this your notice. We're going with Jerome." She hung up before I could respond. 20 minutes later, I got an email from Simone officially terminating our contract, citing creative differences and equipment concerns. The contract was crystal clear. Cancellations within 30 days meant they still owed the full fee, plus I kept the deposit. But more importantly, there was something Simone and Cassidy had completely forgotten about. I'd already photographed their wedding, the entire thing. See, 3 months earlier, Simone insisted on doing a complete wedding rehearsal at the actual venue. Full ceremony run-through, reception timeline, even a mock first dance. She wanted everything perfect, down to the minute. "Bring your camera," she'd said. "We need to test all the lighting and angles." I'd spent 6 hours that day shooting every moment like it was the real wedding. Processional, vows, couple portraits, family groupings, reception details, everything. Simone had been wearing her actual wedding dress because she wanted to see how it photographed. Greg wore his tuxedo. The bridal party was in full attire. The images were stunning. Golden hour light, emotional moments, perfect compositions, some of my best work ever. And according to our contract, any photos taken during pre-wedding sessions belonged to me, unless the full contract was fulfilled and payment received. The day after the real wedding, my phone started buzzing. First Simone, then Cassidy, then Simone's mother, all saying the same thing. Jerome's photos were unusable. Wrong exposure, blurry shots, terrible framing. He'd somehow filled an entire memory card with photos of his own feet. "We need you to fix them," Simone said when she finally got me on the phone. Her voice was desperate, none of the earlier arrogance. "Can you edit what Jerome shot?" "I don't edit other photographers' work," I replied. "That's in my contract, the one you terminated. But we don't have any good photos from our wedding," she said, starting to cry. "Our families traveled from across the country. We spent $40,000 on this day, and we have nothing to show for it." I let the silence hang for a moment. "Actually, you do have professional photos. About 400 of them. What are you talking about? The rehearsal shoot 3 months ago. When you were in your actual dress, Greg was in his tux. Everyone was positioned exactly like the real ceremony. Remember?" I could hear her breathing change as she remembered. "But that wasn't the real wedding. Does anyone else know that?" I asked. "Your guests weren't there. The photos are identical to what the real day would have looked like. Better, actually, because we had perfect lighting and time to compose everything properly." The line went quiet. "You're saying we could use those photos?" "I'm saying those photos exist, but they're my property, since you terminated the contract before completion. The usage rights alone would typically cost about $5,000. $5,000? On top of what we already paid you?" "No," I said. "Instead of what you paid me. You terminated the contract, remember? So you get your deposit back minus the cancellation fee. But if you want the rehearsal photos, that's a separate licensing agreement." Cassidy grabbed the phone. I could hear the snatching sound. "This is extortion. We'll sue you." "For what? Owning my own work?" "Feel free. My contract was reviewed by an attorney. But while you're filing paperwork, you might want to figure out what you're going to show your 300 guests when they ask to see wedding photos." 3 hours later, I received a wire transfer for $7,000. The extra $2,000 was Simone's idea. She wrote in the email as an apology for how they'd treated me. I delivered the photos the next day. Their wedding album looks perfect. Nobody knows the ceremony photos were taken 3 months early. Jerome posted on Facebook about his first wedding photography gig, talking about the learning curve and how natural light is tricky. Simone's family roasted him in the comments until he deleted the post. Last week, Cassidy got engaged. Her fiancé reached out asking if I was available to shoot their wedding. I told him my calendar was fully booked for the next 18 months. Some clients you only need to work with once.